We're now going to look at our Tattered Lace Select foiling. This was a gorgeous collection. So this is where you have a embossing folder, and then you can put your dies into your embossing folder to give you more options. So you could just emboss, you could emboss and die cut, but you can then choose which level of die cutting you want to do. You could then die cut on its own. But then, to be the piece de resistance, we're also going to give you some sheets with toner printed on that you are able to foil onto. Look at that for a beautiful background. So we've got our damask, and we've also got our blossom as well. That's your damask. Let me see if I can find one. Where's the blossom? Oh, there's the blossom. Isn't that gorgeous? There you go. Absolutely beautiful. So you've got that in a pack. So that was very useful to have. So what I've done is I have cut out a couple of the elements from my blossom that I want to use. Now, what is so clever is when you get these, you can see every little bit of space has been used up. So here we've got our lots of love just down here. So I'm going to foil that as well. Now, the way you need to do it is you need to foil first. If you emboss first, what's going to happen is you're going to get your raised edges, and then when you foil, it's just going to foil on the top. The sides aren't going to foil because they're already beveled. So always make sure you foil before you emboss. Now I've got a small carrier sheet here and a larger one. I'm looking at that and it's not going to fit into my small carrier sheet, so I'm going to have to pop them in. So your carrier sheet is there to protect your work. It's to make sure that the foil stays where you want it to be. Let's see if this will fit on widthways, or I might just have to do a little bit of adapting. Now you're going to be a little bit more frugal with your foil than I am, but remember, all of your waste foil can be foiled onto toner sheet or however you want it to be, so that you don't waste any bits at all. So let's just pop that there. Let's see, have I gone too wide now? Oh no, if I'm careful that will foil perfectly. So what you need to do is, I've covered everything up, foil, decorative foil side up, so this dull side goes on to where your toner is, and then we seal it down. Now I'm going to pop that down and I'm just going to smooch out any air bubbles. The tighter the seal, the better the foiling you're going to get. Now I've got my foiling machine here. Now this has been on for quite a while. All it does is it tells me it's ready, and power's on, sorry, and my ready light goes to green. If I just leave it to stand, what it'll do is it'll effectively go to sleep and then kick start back in, but it gets nice and warm. It's not too warm that I can't touch. That's getting quite warm now, but it's not too warm that I can't touch. I've put my carrier sheet in between those two A4 marks, and you can see I'm not holding that now, and that is going through the machine. And it's just like your embossing, your die cutting machine. It's a little bit slower, but if you think about it, it's doing a lot more work. So what's happening here is the heat from here is transferring that foil onto that toner. So we just need to leave it to work its way through the machine. And straight away, when this starts coming out the other side, I can see here, can you see there? It's sort of crinkled. It's almost like static. It's really burnished onto that card. Now remember, all of the foil can be reused again and again. So I'm going to let that go through. We're just at the last little bit now. I just need to wait for it to go through. You can see the benefit of using a smaller pouch. If I could have got that through on a smaller pouch, that would have long since now been out and ready to use, but I had a little bit too much to go in on a single pass on a smaller pouch. So I'm just waiting for that to come through. And I can see, look, there we go. There you go. It's all through. What you can do is you can actually sneak in and pull it out. Oh, that's finished anyway. So what you need to do is just wait for that to, it is quite handy to leave it to cool down, but it doesn't take, it takes milliseconds, absolute milliseconds. What I write, I want to show you, try and make sure you get the best look. Look at how perfect that coverage is on there. Now look at the waist. Can you see every little piece where it wants to be has used? Now make sure you keep all of these little bits, all of these little pieces can be used again and again. So that was out of my shimmers. So you get some gold foil when you buy your machine with your carrier sheets as well. But there we go, look at that. I've got this gorgeous border, I've got my sentiment, and I've got my detail. Now, I don't emboss my border or my sentiments, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my embossing folder here. So I've just put a little black mark on the top side. I just like to do that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and I'm going to line it up with my embossing folder just there. Can you see that's perfectly lined up? So then I pop it down like that, and then I should have had some tape ready. I'm just going to tape that down. Make sure that goes just there, and a little bit of tape there. Let's line that. Yep, still perfect. So then what I do is I take my dies. Now for this, I only need this one die, and that will just fit in there. Now can you see, if I show you, I can lift that because that's popped into those grooves. Can you see? I could go quite a way before that will pop out. But the reason I tape this down is because I like to flop that one over onto there so that that die doesn't move. And can you see now? I can see that is perfectly all the way around there. So what's this going to do? This is going to die cut where that die is, but also emboss as well. So I need to change my, oops, sorry, banging. I need to change my plates for my die cutting machine. Remember, normally I have a 3 and a 5mm. This time I'm going to use 2 3mm plates. And I am going to keep my magnetic shim in, but sometimes you'll find that that might be a little bit too much. If that's a little bit too much, then pop it through without your magnetic shim in. But hopefully this is going through nicely and it should be perfect. So what this is going to do is this is going to now do my die cutting and my embossing in one go. So take that out, lift that, oh I can see. I hope you're going to be able to see this because this is absolutely perfect. Let's just, oops, just caught a little bit. There we go. How can you see how much that has embossed? I hope you can pick it up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and show you the deboss so you can see how brilliantly that's debossed, so that you'll know that that has embossed as well. It's really hard to pick it up on the camera, but hopefully you can see those beveled edges and see that that has embossed beautifully. But you can see definitely the detail in the petals around the flowers. Now that's because we foiled first, that means we've now got foiling round those beveled edges. So that foiling goes right down to the edge. It's absolutely stunning. It's a perfect way to do it. And you've got the choice. And that's what I love about this. So where's all the other bits that I had? I've lost that. There they are. So let's bring in my card base. I'm going to do quite a clean and simple card here because I think we've got enough detail on here with the foiling. We don't need too much detail. So I'm going to go in with some gold mirror card. On like this, I would always use pre-bought mirror card. I wouldn't be using my foils to create my backgrounds like this. Not solid pieces. I want to save my foils for when I'm doing the bits that I like to do. So I've got my gold, and then I'm going to pop my white on. So like I say, this is going to be quite a clean and simple card. We're not going to go too heavily. Now you did have whole background sheets with this beautiful blossom pattern on. If you wanted to, you could cut out some more of that background, but remember you've got the whole of that square panel as well. So that's going to go on there. And then I'm going to take this border and pop that across there, and that's going to go from one side of my gold to the next. Let's just make sure I'm happy with where that's going to be, and then I'm going to pop that on there because we've naturally got that white edge around it. So let's pop that one on flat, and that's going to go just there. Now you could use foam pads for a bit of speed. We're going to use glue gel just now, but if you needed it to be ready a bit quicker, then how about using your foam pads, because that will they'll be perfectly dry straight away. And then we're going to go with my sentiment. And remember, everything is foiled to match. So it looks so opulent. It is a beautiful way to craft. Now, wet glue on Miri is a bit of a pain because it takes a few minutes to adhere. That's the problem, is because Miri has got that sheen on it, it doesn't absorb. So just make sure when you pop it on your card, it is still where you wanted it to go. So I'm going to get my glue gun, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit of wet glue on, and I'm going to pop that on just there, and then I'm going to bring those ribbons to the side. There we go. You can always pop a little bit on there. There we go. How about that? I said it was going to be quite clean and simple, but I don't think you need any more, because you've got, look at that emboss, you've got that Miri. Isn't that absolutely beautiful?